All right, continuing this fashion scaling playbook series, this lesson number 4, is the number one reason we have scaled many brands to $1 million a month that are fashion brands. And I would say there's some of them have done it in 60 days, 90 days, 100 days. Many of them did it over 12 months. But this one lesson, without a doubt, is a big reason for most of those doing it in a short time span. So if you guys have been watching this channel for very long, my name is Ray Johnston. I'm one of the foremost experts when it comes to scaling e-commerce brands and also particularly in the fashion space. And so I've been covering a series breaking down my fashion scaling playbook. This is a long series. It's over 9 specific video modulars we're going to be releasing, but we're only going to be releasing about 80% of it. The rest of it, the real secrets, are going to be inside of the DTC Dojo, which is our mentorship group for e-commerce brands. So what we're going to go over on this one is going to be irresistible offers, well, what I call actually irresistible acquisition offers. Because the whole point of it is frankly just to acquire customers at serious scale. Now, I don't do things on a small scale. If I want to do something, I want to do it on a very big and grand scale. And a lot of people, when it comes to the fashion space, they don't do this because they have these serious misconceptions. And my point of this video is by the end of it, I'm going to completely break why I think that's dumb and why I think that if you're not doing this, you are dumb. So this is a real fashion brand right now as I'm making this video that is crushing it using irresistible acquisition offers. Now, a lot of people, when I tell this to them, especially in the fashion space, they think, man, that's not good. It's bad for my brand. They think, oh, it's just going to acquire really bad customers, or I'm not going to be profitable, or is it going to tarnish my brand long term? And that is completely false. There's never been a brand that we have done this with that any of those scenarios actually happen. Now, the only times that might happen is if you aren't a brand that evolves anyways, because the way I'm going to teach you how to do this in this video, there's really easy ways to do this so you can get the benefits of both, which is number one, the benefit of scaling very aggressively, but also the benefit of not tarnishing your brand as well. And I'll teach you of how you can do this. But irresistible acquisition offers are everything if you want to scale in a short period of time. Otherwise, you can still do it, but it may take you 3 or 4 years, which is nothing wrong with that. That's the plan, the path that you want to take. But a lot of our brands that do this is because they have a lot of the pieces in place and they want to grow quickly. They're ready to grow because with more growth comes a lot of opportunities. You get cheaper costs of goods sold because it gives you more leverage to negotiate with your manufacturers. It gives you cheaper shipping because it gives you more leverage that you can go back and you can negotiate with your shipping. It gives you potentially even more leverage to where you can negotiate cheaper rates like with Stripe or other platforms. Just gives you so much more leverage. In the world of e-commerce, more volume and scale is actually less risk. It's actually far easier to operate an e-commerce brand with more volume than it is on less volume. So really that's why selfishly I want every brand to scale very quickly, because once you get the economies of scale, there are so many more benefits than negatives. Yes, you have to put in some infrastructure and probably hire people to help you maintain it, but it's so much easier at that scale than keeping things small. You have more cash flow, you have more profit, you have more money, it affords you more opportunities, gives you more leverage, and that's why our brands are more successful. So let's break down this lesson. The first one is why smart people are using irresistible acquisition offers and why morons don't. So the first reason why is cheaper acquisition. You can take the exact same product, have a really great irresistible acquisition offer, which I'll walk through how to do that, and instantly overnight your CAC can go down 20%. And if you structure it the right way, you can actually have no marginal change in your actual profit from that order, which I'll teach you that in a second. But that's why I love these because, guys, listen, there's a lot of competition. At the end of the day, the cheaper CAC allows you to spend more money, which allows you to acquire more customers. That's what we're going after. So that's where if a brand is really struggling, beating their head against the wall, there's only so many things you can do to lower your CAC. A lot of times it's just far easier to increase your prices. But if you have to lower your CAC, this is probably the best, surest ways to do that. The other reason why you should do this and why smart people do it is it's easier to upsell and cross-sell. I'll give you some real statistics here and later on, but the people who are given a good deal, there's a significantly higher chance that they will take advantage of another deal before they ever walk out of your virtual store. And there's been many studies about this. That's why a lot of companies have made their living and made their billions off doing this. that once you get them in the mood of saying yes, people tend to continue that pattern of saying yes. Number 3, it's far easier to scale a brand that has an irresistible acquisition offer, and it's 3 times faster. I have done this with so many fashion brands. The fashion brands who don't do this, that's fine if that's what you want, but the fashion brands who don't do this, their path to scaling is significantly longer. But the brands, in our opinion, that do this and do it well, their path of growth is significantly faster. And I'm not one that says the fast way is the only way. In fact, a lot of times, growing and scaling too fast comes with a lot of downsides. But if you're looking at it just from that core principle, you will scale a brand significantly faster with an irresistible acquisition offer than you will with one that isn't. Now, there's outliers out there. Like if you have a famous, like if you're famous yourself, or if you have a partner who's quite famous and is leveraging that fame, or you get some kind of brand deals, collaborations, and you're piggybacking off their fame, or you're so amazing at content, you're like the Mr. Beast of making fashion content, which there are some people out there that they can scale a brand very quickly just by making content. I'll never forget, there's a fashion brand that I met one time. It was just a normal girl who really figured out a specific type of content. She had a fashion brand, and she scaled to $400,000 a month, all just from TikTok. Now, she's quite unique. She's quite an outlier in herself, but that can be done all organically because in today's world, anything's possible. So, but don't hedge on that because you have to be the kind of person that cracks it, but you can crack it. The other one is it's wildly profitable. And this is where I think a lot of people go wrong is they think running acquisition offers, you're giving away too much profit. And on the front end, that is true. And I'm going to talk about this many times throughout this video, but that's not the only way to do it. And it's actually not true from my experience. Because if you do this the right way, especially when you have the right upsells, either pre-cart and post-cart, it could actually be wildly profitable. In fact, more profitable running an acquisition offer than if you aren't running an acquisition offer. And I can say that with full confidence because I have the benefit of so much hindsight. I worked with 300 brands over the last 7 years, half of them definitely in the fashion space. And I've seen the benefit of brands before they start acquisition offers to after, and to acquisition offers to then stopping and then seeing it afterwards. 9 times out of 10, when they were running the irresistible acquisition offers, they were wildly more profitable than they were when they aren't because a lot of reasons they didn't innovate. They didn't change much. They just relied on that offer, which that's the wrong thing to do. Now, the next reason is faster inventory turnover. Why this is important is because it gives you cheaper cost of goods sold. That's why I love running offers like this, because once you do it, you are able to go back to your manufacturer and you're able to say, hey, I am doing this much volume. I am forecasted that I'm going to do this much volume by the end of the year. I need to have better deals. I want to keep working with you, but you guys have to give me a better deal. 9 times out of 10, especially if you're growing that fast and the manufacturer sees it, and then you attach to it also a forecast and you tell them that you want to come play ball, they will find a way to cut your cost of goods sold down because, listen, they need you as much as you need them, but also they are replaceable and they know that. And so use that leverage to your advantage to get cheaper cost of goods sold. I've seen this play out many times. I'm thinking of one particular fashion brand that we worked with for many years. And that this fashion brand, just by going from $100,000 a month on average to the $300,000 to $400,000 a month, they went back to the manufacturer and their cost of goods sold down per product by 12%. That's huge. That's huge. That's 12% more margin literally overnight by doing nothing else because that brand did exactly what I told you. As they said, here's where we're at. We're forecasting to do $1 million a month in November by the end of the year on this path. And the year after that, we think we can normalize doing 8 figures for the entire year. And they took that, they saw their growth. They said, yes, that makes sense. We want to make sure you guys stay loyal partners with us. And dude, just that one thing, instantly 12% more profit. And the next reason is faster new customer growth. Listen, it's no secret that this is without a doubt the most important part about scaling a brand. You need new customer growth. You need it. If you don't have it, you're not going to grow. And even if you have amazing repeat customers, you still are limited by your growth because you need something new fueling that. And there's nothing like scaling a brand off a new acquisition offer that I have ever seen. Once in a rare while, you'll have an ad that goes viral and you can scale very quickly, or you'll have some kind of organic moment that scales very quickly. For example, we had a brand in this fashion brand. They went viral during the beginning of a new college season because they were a viral fashion product that a lot of colleges were taking, a lot of women in sororities were taking pictures of the clothes and posting it, and that created a viral moment. It was actually super rare. They grew like 200% in 1 month. They did a 7-figure month in 2 months in a row because of that moment. But that was like a really rare viral moment where a bunch of the women who had bought their products went to college, posted about it, and then just spread like wildfire. But that's an example where still you need new customer growth, and very rarely can anything beat that besides an irresistible acquisition offer. All right, so now that we're very clear on why smart people run them and morons don't, let's talk about why offers work in fashion. So there's a few reasons. Number one is there's very specific business economic use cases. So I love cohorts. So if you guys don't know what a cohort is, essentially is just, it models data based off of specific data range, whether that's new customers, repeat customers. But in this case, especially in the default report from Shopify, this is the number of new customers you've acquired. So in this particular brand, these are the number of new customers they've acquired, and these are the new customers you acquired in what month, right? And how you read it is, it shows you month 0 is day 0 to day 30. Between day 0 and day 30 of June 2024, 6.8% of these customers bought again. And month 1 is day 31 to, let's call it 60. And that means 90% of these 7,000 new customers, 9% bought between days 31 and 60, and so on and so forth. Why this is important? Because a cohort shows you the relationship people are having with their store in a repeat buying pattern. So the new customers you acquire, it snowballs. These are just new customers who bought in June, not to mention the customers who bought in the previous months and how these customers are going to keep buying again. So it shows the repeat buying pattern. Now, why this is important is because look at this right here. 82,000 new customers acquired in a year. Can you imagine the growth you can have if you're acquiring 82,000 customers in a single year? And look at this. New customer acquisition offer launched. Pause, and then Black Friday, new customer acquisition offer launch. Do you see how many more new customers they're acquiring in that 1 month they're running an offer like this? And look at this. It's not like they're bad customers. It's not like they're junk customers. Look at that. Look at that, them buying again. The 10,000 people who bought from an acquisition offer, 7% bought, which is above the average. Days 30, 9%, which is above the average, bought 31 to 60 average. So they're still buying again, which is a complete fallacy people have that we're buying junk customers. No, you're buying new customers, because whoever buys the most amount of new customers is going to win, full stop. And it's not just this. The benefit is, can you imagine if you're the kind of brand and you run irresistible acquisition offers and you acquired 82,000 new customers in 1 year, and the next year you do the same thing, you acquire another 80,000 new customers. That's 160,000 customers you acquired in 24 months. And why this is huge, because then when it comes time for you to launch new products, you have a massive pool of customers you have acquired. 200,000 customers you've acquired over 24 months, which is $17 million. So that when you launch a new product like this brand, you will make $100,000 in that day. And I can say that confidently because I've seen this play out for years. And this particular brand is no stranger to it. They focus so much on acquiring customers as aggressively as possible so that throughout the year, when they launch new products, they'll make $100,000 in a day, $200,000 in a day. Can you imagine for your brand that you have so many new customers that when you launch a new product, you can make 6 figures in a single day just by sending a few emails and a few text messages without running any ads? This is where, when you have economies of scale, this is when you start making insane, life-changing money. Because once you do this, and this is why acquisition offers are so good, which I'll talk about in a second, is it removes friction. So number one, an offer, and this is real statistics, an offer will get a conversion 37% faster than a conversion without an offer. So it also helps you to shorten the window of someone making a purchase decision, because it'll make it 37 times faster. But also every 1% discount gets an almost 1% increase in your add to cart, or the number of added carts, okay? But also those who get an offer are 2 times more likely to buy again before leaving. Now we're gonna go back to why this is important. It's because when you do this, and if you run acquisition offers the right way, people are buying faster, You have a higher conversion rate, more people adding to cart, which then triggers your abandoned cart flows for email and SMS. But also, they're significantly more likely to buy from you more than they would without it. And that's before leaving your store. Because when you do this, things go crazy. Number one, you get more products in the hands of your customers. So again, going back to this, and this is a real brand that we work with. Could you imagine over 24 months acquiring 200,000 customers and 200,000 people now, if you have a good product, have your product, are wearing your product, are talking about your product? Could you imagine if you had 200,000 people over 24 months tagging you on Instagram, on TikTok, showing your products off? And also, you'll have 200,000 potential people who will buy from you when you launch a new product, okay? And also, this is the thing that most people don't think about is, you know how many chances you have now of getting famous people or people that have really big followings to see your product? And this is a fascinating one that most people don't realize. When you have so much scale, the chances of you getting your product in the hands of a celebrity or someone famous increase many magnifold. This particular brand I'm thinking of right now, it is very normal and common now. In just over 2 years, they have famous people like J-Lo buying from them. They have famous people from movies, from TV shows, sports people, famous tennis players, buying their products and then wearing their products, all because economies of scale. And I've seen this play out, and not just fashion, I've seen it play out in jewelry. We have a brand right now that does art, and they're so famous now, they acquire so many new customers that they've been on Joe Rogan. They've had very famous spokespeople show them off in their live streams. And that is another reason why I'm such a fan of this, because it gives you so many more opportunities to be what I call unsinkable. Because if you grow, and if you can, again, just over 24 months, if you can grow like this, it makes it so that so many people are talking and wearing your products. It's just so much easier to advertise because now you have product recognition, you have brand recognition, because it's not just 200,000 people. Think of all the people that see their posts, that they're friends with, they're connected with. That 200,000 people, it's probably more like 10 million, probably even more than 10 million, who have been influenced by the products that they are wearing that you got in their hands. All right, so let's talk about this. What kind of offers can you run? There's different categories of offers. And when I think about running an acquisition offer, I'm thinking about what category makes sense. My job here is not to break it down exactly what offer you should run, but to help you understand that there's a myriad of different offers, and all of them you should be considering. Just really depends on what makes sense for your brand, for your economics of your product, of your margins. So make sure you do the math on that one. But these are my type of offers we go to on a regular basis. So the first one is going to be a convenience offer. Convenience offer is pretty simple. It's like a free day rush delivery, try before you buy. Amazon does this a lot. Other brands have done it too, especially like subscription boxes where they send you products, you try it on, bring it back. Even non-subscription boxes. We have a fashion brand that sells dresses, and it's very common. They'll say, "Hey, buy all the dresses that you want. You have 7 days to return it once you get it. If you don't return it, they're all yours, but you still have to pay for it." And it actually does work, surprisingly. The other one is a price offer. So that's your very traditional. Get 25% off, get $20 cash back, get your first pair for $28, originally $59. This offer works really good, by the way, guys. That one works really good. But here's interesting. Cashback is an interesting one. A lot of people don't know this, but why I'm a fan of cashback is because only 20% of people who do a cashback offer ever redeem it. So it's actually kind of like free money, especially if like your pop-up is cashback, or when someone returns something, you give them cashback, or that is the offer. It's actually really great because like 1 in 5 people are going to redeem it, which is just free cash for you. Okay, then you have your bang for buck offers. Those are things like $750 free credit, buy two for $49. These types of offers work really good as well. And buy one, get one free, also those work really well as well too. And there's different permutations of this, like this brand does buy two, get one free. So different permutations, but that you kind of get the idea for like good bang for buck. Then you have subscription offers. So if you're a brand that runs subscription business, like that could be for underwear, lingerie, t-shirts, shoes. These are some offers that work pretty well. Get your first month free, first 1 month free trial, 30% off, one extra free item of your choosing every single month. There's different permutations you can use here as well. But again, that offer is really only for subscription brands specifically. All right. Then you have your freebie offers. So these are some of my favorite ones. You can do like mystery free t-shirt. Anyone who buys a hoodie or pants gets entered into a mystery free t-shirt. And as a consumer, it's so funny, like just a general principle, you are not your end customer because you think differently, you act differently. And most of the time, I don't think these would work very well. These mystery offers, mystery bags, mystery bundles. But like, there's been like 9 times out of 10, they actually work really well for our brands. Me personally, I wouldn't like it because I don't like the rolling of the dice. I want to know exactly what I'm getting. But there's a lot of people out there that this actually works quite well. So don't discount it. So freebie offers is free on orders over 100. First 500 people get a free gift, free sample with every flavor, and there's different permutations you can do with this. But freebie offers work really good. Like we've had brands that do anyone who orders this weekend or $50 gets a free t-shirt we're testing out. Like there's many different things that you can do. We've had brands that do anyone who buys a dress this weekend gets a free belt. And that one crushed actually because the belt was like a $2 cost of goods sold and the dresses were $150. Like that was an amazing offer. Actually, much more appetizing than giving 15% off. Then you have bundled offers, which is like bundle starter pack, girls night out bundle, treat yourself bundle. Now, real quick on this one is you can go with the very traditional bundle, which is like a what you see here image, buy it. Like that's one type of bundle. The other bundle is take your core assorted products. Let's say you have dresses and you have 15 different style of dresses. You can do of the dresses. One of my favorite things is to call it something special. That's why like girls night out bundle, where you can take your products, take a bundle, could be 5 or more dresses. I'm sorry, 5 dresses, and say, here, get this girls night out bundle. Call it something special. So just like have some marketing prowess, some salesmanship, and call something special. We've had beauty brands where they take products that they already sold and then they bundle it together for Mother's Day into like a treat yourself bundle, things like that. So have some salesmanship. The other one is like a hybrid offer. Now, this particular brand, they actually sell apparel, but they were doing a bike giveaway. For every dollar you spend, get you entered in to win this bike. But you don't have to do that. We've had brands that do like a free course with every first order. Like they partnered with a really famous person and did a collaboration that said anyone who buys is going to get this woman's styling tips for free for this weekend, right? Just it's a great way to give them something special, increase your conversion rate, or one free night at an Airbnb with national park purchase. So for example, we've had a brand that they did like traveling resort type wear, and anyone who bought in a particular weekend, they would get a free Airbnb, for example. One night at Airbnb, excuse me. Or like the traditional giveaway brands, every $1 you spend gets you 10 entries to a giveaway. Like we've had brands do Taylor Swift concert ticket giveaways and hockey game ticket giveaways. So there's different things you can do. Like just think about what is your customer? What do they like? What do they enjoy? And then what is something that be worthy of a giveaway that they would enjoy, and how they enter is either a dollar spent on the store or everyone who buys in a particular time range gets them entered into that giveaway. These, by the way, crush. Just have to make sure you worry about the legalities of it. All right, let's talk about just why this makes sense. So a lot of people don't know that our acquisition offers make a lot of financial sense. Let me show you. So this is just a really simple offer calculator that we have. We have a hoodie, buy one, get one free, buy 2 hoodies for $50, a hat, buy one hoodie and get a free hat. And essentially what we do is we just break down all the numbers, the retail price, cost of good, pick and pack, gateway, shipping costs, and then you don't have to do free shipping, but if you were going to do free shipping, here's what the gross profit would be right here, okay? And the cost of good, including free shipping, what that would be. Now, typically, I'm not a fan of doing free shipping unless it's over like a certain threshold. But looking at this, you're like, Ray, that doesn't look very good. I agree with you. But this is where people don't understand when it comes to offers. And that is, if it's a good offer and you incentivize people appropriately, they will buy more than one. And that's where everyone screws up, is they do the math. Every time I say do an acquisition offer, they do the math and like, oh, screw this, hard pass. This is not profitable at all. I can't make this work. And they're not thinking about consumer behavior. They're thinking about founder behavior. And remember, you are not your customer. And consumers will take advantage of a really good acquisition offer where they will buy more than one. So yes, on face value, if they bought just one, it doesn't look very good. But I've seen this play out so many times, which is why you should test it. What happens if they buy more than one? So what happens if you upsell them more than one or incentivize them? Well, now that gross profit just on these two examples increases to this. Well, that's significantly better. What happens if they buy two or more? Look at that gross profit. It's doubled. What happens if they buy three or more? Look at that gross profit, significantly more. And this is where people don't understand. I've seen brands where they took a couple of their best-selling products that have 15, 20 different colors, and they incentivized them appropriately. And they had women buying 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets because it was such a great offer and it was wildly profitable. Because yes, a good chunk of people only will buy one, but a massive chunk of people will buy different amounts of them. And that's where it's wildly profitable. So that's where I tell brands, you need to try this. And if you incentivize them appropriately, pre-cart as well as post-cart, like a post-purchase upsell, it could actually be wildly profitable. And a lot of our brands that do this are actually more profitable doing this than they are not doing an acquisition offer. All right, so give that a try. Irresistible acquisition offers, without a doubt, one of my favorite things to run. It makes scaling easier, makes it more predictable. And not only that, but makes your life easier. And there's many different ways that you can do it. My recommendation is take one of your top 3 or top 5 bestsellers, just one SKU, one hero product, but just make sure you have many different colors or variants of it. That's where things really work out in your favor. Because if you just have, for example, I'm making it simple, let's say you just have this one t-shirt, and you don't have any different colors or any other designs, it's really hard to incentivize people to buy more than one. But if it's a product that has different colors, then it's much easier to take advantage of that strategy I mentioned a few moments ago. If you have any questions, make sure you like, comment below. I answer all my comments, but also please subscribe. That helps out this channel so much. And if you're loving this fashion scaling playbook I've been releasing slowly, let me know. It gives me the confidence to keep making them. And I'll see you in the next video.